All right, so I want to explain to you the nitrogen cycle as far as aquaponics is concerned. So, aquaponics is growing food with fish and with plants in a system that kind of mimics what we see in nature in ponds, um, but we're doing it in a more controlled environment. So that means we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. So in aquaponics, you're growing fish and you're growing plants at the same time, and you're using the relationship between those two and relationship with bacteria that are in the water, in the soil, in the media, kind of the soil, and in the fish's gut. You're using all those relationships to make sure that they're both are growing properly, that fish and plants are growing properly. So I want to talk about the nitrogen cycle. So in aquaponic setup, excuse me, in an aquaponic setup, you would feed them fish. You would feed the fish food. So you put fish food at the top. The fish eat it. The food goes into their digestive system, makes the fish happy. It also makes the bacteria happy. The bacteria will help break that food down. The fish absorb most of the nutrients and stuff, or a lot of the nutrients, and a lot of the nutrients, or some of the nutrients, get pushed down here in the form of fecal matter, poop. So you feed the fish poop. The poop goes down to the bottom generally, and it starts accumulating. Some of it will float, but eventually it will sink to the bottom. And eventually what's going to happen is that poop is going to start breaking down, and it's going to form a toxic material, chemical called ammonia, which is NH3 or NH4. Ammonium or ammonia. So ammonia is going to be in here, and it's going to actually kill the fish if the levels get too high. Then the fish will die. So what we do, as the people who have to maintain the system, we push that water into a tank that also has some other different types of bacteria, and these types of bacteria are going to be nitrifying bacteria. So they're going to take that ammonia. That ammonia is going to come in. I don't think you can see that color. But that ammonia is going to come in, and you're going to, the bacteria are going to break that down. And in that process of breaking down ammonia, they create what we call nitrate. So it actually goes from nitrite into nitrate. We're going to kind of jump the gun there and say nitrate. And it's in H3, so in O3. In H3 is ammonia. In O3 is nitrate. And nitrates are converted, or essentially what the plants in the system use for fertilizer. So that water gets pumped into here to keep the media, the rocks or the clay pebbles or plastic, whatever it is, styrofoam, it keeps it wet so that the plants can grow up. And I don't want to shame any of you, but this is about to be a beautiful plant. But this plant, let's just say let's make a little branch. This is going to be an ugly tomato plant. But this branch, or this plant, has tomatoes growing on it. See? Obviously tomatoes. And so the nutrients that we put in there, we put it in the system in the form of protein. Protein got broken down by the fish, and the bacteria in the fish's gut into ammonia. That ammonia would have killed the fish, but instead we pumped it over here to the bacteria that gobbled it up and converted that ammonia into nitrate. That nitrate was pumped back up here to the plants, and the plants turned that nitrate into fruit. So by feeding the fish food and managing this system, we can get fish protein, meat, and we can get fruit in the form of vegetables and leaves and stuff like that. Vegetables and fruit. You could grow strawberries in here, or peppers, or tomatoes. We grow things like basil and lettuce and stuff like that. So fruit or vegetables. So yeah, this is the nitrogen cycle. And remember, it goes around and around, and it happens repeatedly over and over again, which is very different from energy flow. But this is nitrogen, and it is one of the cycles that we're going to talk about.